Lao General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith begins a state visit to Vietnam.
Russia, Ukraine, and the United States conclude talks, raising the possibility of a Putin-Zelensky meeting.
Ferry carrying more than 350 people sinks in the Philippines, at least 15 dead.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first half of the show. This morning, Lao People's Revolutionary Party General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith, just accompanied by his spouse, arrived in Hanoi, beginning a state visit to Vietnam.
Vietnamese ambassador to Laos Nguyen Minh Tham stressed that Lao People's Revolutionary Party General Secretary and President Thongloun Sisoulith's decision to choose Vietnam as the first country for an official visit, immediately after the Lao People's Revolutionary Party and the Communist Party of Vietnam successfully held their respective national congresses, carries profound political and diplomatic significance. The move underscores the exceptionally high level of political trust between the two parties and states, as well as among their senior leaders, and reaffirms that the great friendship, special solidarity, comprehensive cooperation, and strategic bond between Vietnam and Laos remain a top strategic priority in the foreign policies of both countries.
Russia, Ukraine, and the United States just concluded a round of talks, leaving open the possibility of continued dialogue and even a potential face-to-face meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the near future.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wrote on social media platform X after the meeting that the focus of the discussions was on possible parameters for ending the conflict. Meanwhile, a U.S. official said further talks are expected to take place on February 1st, also in Abu Dhabi. According to a spokesperson for the government of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, there was direct contact between the Ukrainian and Russian delegations, a rare occurrence in nearly 4 years of conflict since Russia launched its military operation in Ukraine in February 2022. Negotiators discussed outstanding elements within a peace framework proposed by Washington. The United States hopes subsequent rounds of talks could be held in Moscow or Kyiv, paving the way for a bilateral meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Zelensky, or a trilateral meeting involving U.S. President Donald Trump.
On the morning of January 26th, a serious maritime accident occurred in the southern Philippines when a ferry carrying more than 350 people sank while en route from Zamboanga to Jolo Island. At least 15 people were killed and 28 others remain missing.
According to the Philippine Coast Guard, the vessel MV Tricia Kirsten III sent a distress signal at around 1:50 a.m., more than 4 hours after departing Zamboanga port. At the time of the incident, the ferry was carrying 332 passengers and 27 crew members. Following the incident, search and rescue operations were launched immediately, involving Coast Guard vessels, Navy and Air Force units, surveillance aircraft, Black Hawk helicopters, and numerous local fishing boats. At least 316 people have been rescued. The cause of the sinking has yet to be determined. The Coast Guard stressed that the vessel had passed safety inspections prior to departure and showed no signs of overloading. A maritime accident investigation will be conducted once rescue operations are completed.
Upcoming are some updated news.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh has signed Official Dispatch No. 06, calling for stronger implementation of key tasks and solutions to achieve economic growth targets in 2026. Under the directive, the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment is tasked with prioritizing production to firmly safeguard national food security under all circumstances. The ministry is also required to accelerate agricultural restructuring linked with the application of science and technology, innovation, and digital transformation, while promoting modern, sustainable agricultural, forestry, and fisheries production to enhance competitiveness. Local authorities are urged to proactively prepare conditions for the winter-spring crop, adjust production schedules in line with market demand, and strengthen links for agricultural product consumption. Notably, the Prime Minister assigned the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, together with relevant ministries, sectors, and localities, to resolve remaining bottlenecks in combating illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing, with the goal of lifting the European Commission's yellow card by April 2026.
On the morning of January 26th, international silver prices continued to surge to $103 per ounce, up 12% over the past week. Since the beginning of the year, silver has gained 45% in value, pushing its total market capitalization to more than $5.8 trillion and making it the world's second-largest asset, surpassing several major global technology giants. According to experts, speculative activity is playing an increasingly significant role in the current rally, raising concerns that the short-term price trend may be unsustainable and prone to sharp volatility. Some analysts even project prices could climb to $120–150 per ounce amid ongoing geopolitical and economic uncertainty.
From early 2026, several airlines have announced bans on the use of power banks on board aircraft, with the latest being Korean Air and Asiana Airlines, effective from January 26. Under the new rules, passengers are prohibited from using power banks to charge any electronic devices, including mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and cameras, on both domestic and international flights. Power banks must also be kept within reach of passengers at all times. Storing power banks in overhead luggage compartments is strictly prohibited, as this could delay the detection of abnormalities such as smoke, potentially leading to serious incidents. Power banks use lithium batteries, the same type found in devices such as laptops, mobile phones, tablets, and electronic cigarettes, which pose heightened fire risks in aviation environments.
In 2025, the number of businesses newly established and resuming operations reached a record high, rising by more than 43% year-on-year, underscoring the economy's resilience and the effectiveness of policies aimed at improving the investment and business environment. More in the story today.
After a prolonged period of suspension, the company has decided to return to the market from early 2026, as the economy shows clear signs of recovery. Thanks to practical support policies on taxation, access to credit, and streamlined administrative procedures, the business has gained renewed confidence to restart its production and business activities.
Newly established enterprises are exempt from corporate income tax during their first 3 years of operation. This policy provides a strong incentive and meaningful support for small and medium-sized enterprises. The province needs to accelerate digital transformation, particularly by investing in digital platforms within public administration to better serve businesses.
In 2025, despite difficulties caused by natural disasters and economic volatility, Nghệ An recorded the establishment of more than 3,000 new enterprises, with total registered capital exceeding VND 28.5 trillion, up 43% compared to 2024. On average, nearly 300 new businesses were set up each month, reflecting the strong resilience of the private sector.
Administrative reform and innovation are being pursued not only at the national level, but also vigorously by the party committee and authorities of Nghệ An province. As a result, many institutional barriers are gradually being removed. Resolution 68 on private sector development has served as a major catalyst, creating strong momentum for rapid growth in the private business community.
Several component indicators posted notable improvements. The Business Support Policy Index rose from 7.56 to 8.01, while access to land increased from 6.25 to 7.01. In parallel, the province cut 30% of inappropriate business conditions and reduced 30% of administrative compliance costs for enterprises.
The aim is to raise public awareness and encourage more rational investment in forest cultivation, enabling companies to purchase acacia trees at a more mature age, thereby achieving higher productivity.
The wave of businesses entering and re-entering the market sends encouraging signals, reaffirming the economy's momentum and the growing confidence of the business community. Beyond boosting short-term growth, this trend opens up opportunities for sustainable development, enhances competitiveness, and lays a solid foundation for the province's economic growth in the time ahead.
The last story descended our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.